Hey everyone! So today we are going to be making Jinx, the character from Arcane. As you can see, she has the blue hair, the two braids that come down, the X on her chest, and she is looking great. So we are going to make her today, and I'm going to show you how to make her step by step. So I hope you guys follow along and make your very own Jinx from Arcane Crochet plushie as part of my 100 mini series. Enjoy! For the materials, we're going to need the following. So you'll need some 4-ply cotton yarn. So as you can see, I've got some 4-ply cotton yarn in a bunch of different colors. You're going to need some flesh pink, black, some royal blue, a little bit of yellow, or you can use this type of yellow, which is a little bit of a darker colored yellow, and then also purple. So that is the 4-ply cotton yarn. You're also going to need a 1.9mm hook, but feel free to use anywhere between a 1.75 and a 3mm hook for 4-ply cotton yarn. Alternatively, you can use your own hook and own yarn, whatever you're used to as well, no problem at all. For this pattern, we're also going to be using some 6 or 7mm black safety eyes. Then you will also need a sewing needle. In my case, I'm actually using a leather needle. This is what it looks like here. It's got a sharp point at the end and a small eye, as you can see there. And of course, you'll also need some fiber filling and a pair of cutters. And that's it. So let's get straight into it. Okay, so let us begin. You're going to start with flesh pink colored yarn, and you're going to make a magic ring. So if you don't know how to make a magic ring or other types of crochet stitches, feel free to check out my beginner crochet tutorial playlist. I've got a bunch of videos there to teach you how to crochet. Once you've learned that, come back here and you'll be able to make any plush that I have a tutorial video on. So let us make this magic ring now, just like that. And then we're going to make 6 single crochet stitches inside this magic ring. And I just want to give you a quick lesson, if you don't already know. For my amigurumi plushies, I recommend using the yarn over, yarn under technique. I recommend using the yarn under, yarn over technique. So this is what I'm going to teach you right here. So the yarn will come underneath the hook and you pull it up. And then the yarn will go over the hook as you pull it through those 2 loops on the hook. So once again, yarn comes under and then yarn comes over. Feel free also to use the yarn under technique, but I wouldn't recommend yarn over just for these types of plushies. And also, as you're going as well, you want to ensure that as you're pulling the yarn through these 2 loops, you want to move your hook so that it's in a vertical manner, and that just helps to align the stitches. So I've got some videos on that as well, helpful tips that you might enjoy. So let's just work those 6 single crochet stitches. So that's number 4, 5, and number 6. Then you're going to pull the yarn tail from your magic ring, and feel free to continue to crochet in a spiral here. You may have to make some adjustments later on for the arms, or finish with a slip stitch and chain 1. I'm going to do the slip stitch and chain 1 just for this tutorial. So have a look here. You're going to slip stitch and chain 1 just like that. And that is the end of our first round. For round number 2, we are going to be making increases in every stitch space. So an increase just means 2 single crochet stitches inside that 1 stitch space. And what you can do as well is weave this yarn tail from your magic ring over your hook for a couple of those stitches just to secure it more in place. So that's the second increase right there. I'm coming into the 3rd stitch space, and I am now making the 3rd increase. So we've got 1, 2, and 3. I just want you to finish now until you've reached the end. I'm not going to weave in that yarn tail anymore. So that's number 4. Here is number 5, and look how my hook goes in that vertical direction there. And here finally is number 6, just like that. I'll finish with the slip stitch and chain 1 to complete round number 2. So there we go. Round number 2 is now all done. And we are up to round number 3. So for round number 3, we are going to do the following. You'll come inside the 1st stitch space, make a single crochet stitch. Come inside the 2nd stitch space and make an increase. 1, come back inside, and here's number 2.
Let's do it once more. Single crochet stitch first, followed by an increase, 1 and 2. And I want you to repeat this another 4 times. At the end of round 3, you will have 18 single crochet stitches. Finish with a slip stitch and chain 1, or if you're crocheting in a spiral, just move that stitch marker. So here I am at the end of round 3. This is my 18th stitch right here, finishing with that increase, and it's the last single crochet stitch to complete that increase. And what I'm going to do here is change my yarn color to purple. So I'm grabbing my purple yarn, leaving a little bit of a tail, having it sit underneath here, and then pull it through those 2 loops on the hook, just like that. And then I'm going to enter into the very first stitch of round number 3, have these 2 yarn tails come over the top of the hook and make your slip stitch and chain 1 to finish off round number 3, just like that. Round number 4 is probably the trickiest part of the entire pattern, and I'm going to take you through it slowly. So let's go from here. So we're going to start off with 5 single crochet stitches, 1, and I am weaving this in just for maybe the first or second stitch. Here's number 2. Here is the 3rd single crochet stitch, the 4th single crochet stitch, and here's the 5th single crochet stitch. And I'm not going to complete that stitch with purple yarn. Instead, what I will do is I'm going to grab my black yarn. As you can see here, I've got some black yarn here, and I'm going to weave that through those 2 loops on the hook to finish off that single crochet stitch. And now from here, what we are going to do is something a little bit different. We're going to make what is called a spike bobble stitch. And what that means is instead of coming directly into the next stitch space with your hook, you're actually going to work 1 stitch space below that. So as you can see, I'm coming right here. And before we do that, that's what we call a spike. But because we're making a bubble, we need to wrap the yarn first. So wrap the yarn first, come into the spike section, and pull up the yarn. Make sure you pull it up a little bit there. And then have that yarn come through those 2 loops on the hook, and you'll be left with 2 loops on the hook. Repeat exactly what you did. Wrap the yarn, come in that same stitch space, pull up the yarn, and pull the yarn through 2 loops on the hook. And again, wrap the yarn, pull the yarn through, and wrap through 2 loops on the hook, just like that. Okay, so from here, you want to change the yarn color back to purple, and have the purple yarn color come through all 4 loops on the hook. And well done, guys, you've just completed your first spike bubble stitch, just like that. From here, we're coming into the next stitch space, and I'm going to weave the black yarn tail over the hook, just like that. So that's 1 purple single crochet stitch. I'm no longer going to weave these in, so let's make another 2. Hold on, let's have a look. So this is the 3rd one. Here's the 4th, and here is the 5th. And in the same way as before, we are not going to complete this 5th single crochet stitch in purple. Instead, we change to black, pull the black through just like that. And now we are ready to make another spike bubble stitch. So remember, we are not coming here, we are instead coming right here. So we need to wrap the yarn first, come directly underneath here, have the purple yarn on top of the hook, just over the hook, as you can see, just like that. And then you're going to pull the yarn through and pull it up, and then pull the yarn through 2 loops on the hook. And let's repeat that another 2 times. So pull the yarn up, pull the yarn through 2. One more time, wrap the yarn, pull the yarn up, pull the yarn through 2. Change your yarn color back to purple, and pull through all 4 loops on the hook, just like that. Okay, so let us finish this off now. We are going to work the rest of the stitches, so each of the remaining stitches, back with purple yarn. So let me just do that properly so I'm not getting this black yarn through at the same time. I'm going to weave the black yarn over the hook as I make my first single crochet stitch, and that is enough. And then let's finish it off without getting this black yarn involved. So here's number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, and finally number 6, whilst then also making a slip stitch and a chain 1 to finish that off. We're now up to round number 5, and actually for the next 2 rounds, so that's rounds number 5 and 6, all you're going to do is make 18 single crochet stitches. So remember, that's 2 rounds, rounds 5 and 6, just making 18 single crochet stitches, and we'll come back at the beginning of round number 7. We are now at the end of round 6, and actually we're at the 18th single crochet stitch of round number 6 right here, and all we're going to do to complete that is change the yarn color to flesh pink. So that's all I'm doing right there, and then I'm coming into my very first stitch and then having the yarn, purple yarn on top, and finishing off with a slip stitch and chain 1 just to finish like that. Now for round number 7, we are going to be working in the back loops only, as you can see here, and we'll just be working 18 single crochet stitches, but in the back loops only. That's why you've got the BLO abbreviation there. So just be mindful of that as you're working your single crochet stitches all the way around. There we go, we finished that, so that's round number 7. Now for rounds numbers 8 and 9, so that's 2 rounds, all you'll be doing is making 18 single crochet stitches. No back loops, no front loops, just 18 regular single crochet stitches for 2 rounds. And when you get to that 18th stitch in the second round, we're going to change the yarn color, so we'll do that together. So here we are at the end of round number 9 on that 18th stitch, and we're going to change the yarn color this time to black. So grab your black colored yarn and make sure you leave enough slack down here as well so that you don't pull that yarn. And then come into your very first stitch of that round, have the yarn tails over the hook as you make your slip stitch and chain 1 just like that. And now for round 10, all it will be is 18 single crochet stitches until the completion of round number 10. There we go, finished round number 10. Now for round number 11, it's a little bit different because we are going to make some of these spike bubble stitches again. So let's do that together. Let's make first 4 single crochet stitches. So this one here is my second, this one here is my third, and here is my 4th, just like that. Now you can actually, if you want to at this point, cut the purple yarn because it may just be getting in the way at this point. I wouldn't recommend cutting the flesh pink colored yarn because you will need that at a later stage for the head. Okay, are you ready for that spike bubble stitch? Remember, we're not working right here. Instead, we're coming down 1 row or round and coming right into here, but we need to wrap the yarn first. Then we come here, pull the yarn up, pull the yarn through only 2 loops on the hook, and repeat another 2 more times. So that's the second time, and we've got 1 more to go. Right here, pull up, pull through, and there we go. We've got 4 loops on the hook right there, as you can see, and we're just going to pull the yarn through all 4 loops on the hook. No changing colors at this point, which is really, really nice. Okay, let us continue now with another 7 single crochet stitches. So that's 1. Here's number 2, and we can kind of push this bubble stitch out as well. Then we've got number 3, number 4, number 5, number 6, and number 7. There we go. And now we're ready for our next spike bubble stitch, and it's not going to come here but will come right here. So remember, wrap the yarn first, then come down here, pull up the yarn and pull the yarn through 2, wrap the yarn again, same space, pull through 2, and wrap the yarn 1 more time, come in the same stitch space, pull the yarn up and pull through 2, 4 loops on the hook, and now we pull the yarn through all 4 loops on the hook, just like that. And we will be left with 1 single crochet stitch, 2 single crochet stitches, 3 single crochet stitches, and there's another 2. So that will be a total of 5 more single crochet stitches, just like that. Fantastic, guys. Okay, so now we are going to make a slip stitch and chain 1 again. For round number 12, it is not difficult, but we are learning some new things and we incorporate some color changes as well. So let us start like this. You're going to make a single crochet stitch, and then we're going to make an invisible decrease, and I'll show you what this looks like. So you want your hook to come through the front loop only of the next stitch, and then the front loop only again of the very next adjacent stitch. So your hook is now in 2 front loops, and then you pull the yarn through. And technically you would pull the yarn through those 2 loops to finish off that stitch, but because we need to change colors, we need to grab our flesh pink colored yarn, just like that, and then the flesh pink yellow yarn, colored yarn will go through. Okay, so we're going to repeat everything we just did. I'm going to have the black yarn over the hook as well. So single crochet stitch first, followed by an invisible decrease. So front loop first, front loop of the next stitch, pull the yarn through, and then this time we will change back to black and pull the black yarn through, just like that. Fantastic work, guys. So we are going to continue this now. Front loop, single crochet stitch followed by invisible decrease, and again single crochet stitch first followed by an invisible decrease, and it's on this invisible decrease that we change our yarn color to flesh pink. Pull that through, and as we continue now, single crochet stitch first followed by an invisible decrease, black yarn comes through to finish off that invisible decrease, and we should have left over single crochet stitch first followed by an invisible decrease, and we are going to have the flesh pink colored yarn come through those 2 loops on the hook. We come into the first stitch space of that round, have the black yarn over the hook, and make a slip stitch and chain 1 to finish off that round. Okay, so we are now up to round number 13, and we are going to be using flesh pink colored yarn, and this is what we'll do. We're going to be inserting our hook into the back loops only of this round, so just those back loops, and we will do the following: single crochet stitch first, followed by back loop only, increase. So there's 1, 2 single crochet stitches to make that first increase. And we're just going to repeat that pattern. So single crochet stitch first, followed by an increase in the next back loop stitch. And all I want you to do is keep repeating that all the way around. You will have a total of 18 single crochet stitches at the end of round number 13. Round number 13 is now complete, and feel free to chop that black colored yarn because you no longer need it, and we can just have this come inside the body like that. Okay, so for round number 14 now, super simple. We are making 2 single crochet stitches first, followed by an increase, 1 and 2. So I'll show you once more. 2 single crochet stitches first, 1 and 2, followed by an increase, and I want you to repeat that now another 4 times. Finish off round number 14 and you will have 24 single crochet stitches in that round. For the next 4 rounds, so this will be rounds 15, 16, 17 and 18, we're just going to make single crochet stitches. So that's a total of 24 single crochet stitches for the next 4 rounds. So let's come back at the end of those 4 rounds to see what we do next. And as you can see, we've finished those 4 rounds, and now we don't have too many rounds to go. So here we go. For the next round, this is round number 19, we are going to do the following: make 2 single crochet stitches first, followed by an invisible decrease. And remember, that was going through the front loops of the 2 adjacent stitches. Pull the yarn through, pull the yarn through. And you're just going to repeat that now. So single crochet stitch again, and invisible decrease, just like that. Repeat it another 4 times. You will have a total of 18 single crochet stitches in that round. And we are now up to round number 20 after just completing round number 19. Now, if you'd like to skip ahead, feel free to do so, because that's where I will be inserting the eyes and the fiber filling to fill up the body. But for me, I can go an extra round before I do that. So that's what I'm going to do right now. But if you feel like you can't do that, just skip a little bit forward. You'll see where those eye placements, you'll see where the eye placement is and how we fill up the body. Okay, now back to this next round. So this is round number 20. We are making a single crochet stitch first, followed by an invisible decrease, just like that. So again, single crochet stitch first, followed by an invisible decrease. And again, repeat that 4 more times, including the time that I am doing right now. So now repeat it another 3 times and you will finish round number 20, finish off with the slip stitch and chain 1. Okay, so I've just finished round number 20 and I'm about to do the chain 1 after the slip stitch, but this time I'm going to pull it a little bit longer so that it doesn't unravel as I'm placing my eyes inside as well as the fiber filling. So let us now use our either 6 or 7 millimeter black safety eyes. I believe these are my size 6 black safety eyes, so I'm going to use those, but size 7 is more than fine. And also if you used thicker yarn, you'll have to use bigger safety eyes as well. Okay, let us insert these in. So here, as you can see, I have already inserted my eyes and they are between rounds 16 and round 17, so right in the middle between those 2 rounds, round 16 and round 17, and they line up so that they're kind of placed in between the arms and the legs as best as you can, and mine are around about 2 stitch spaces apart. So as you can see, there's at least 2 stitch spaces between those eyes right there. And now we just need to insert the back so we can secure these eyes in place. So to secure these eyes in place, so as you can see, I've got the backs here and the narrow side is the one that's going to face the yarn. So I'm going to squish that up right to the top there, and I'm going to do the exact same for the other one. And there we go. So all that's left to do now at this point is we're going to add some fiber filling inside this plushie right here, and I'm going to be doing that layer by layer. So you can see I've just got a little bit of my fiber filling right here, and then I'll use a pair of cutters to really push that in and condense it layer by layer. So you remember, you don't want to be doing this all in one go, just layer by layer, small bit by small bit, so you can condense it and have it fill up all the spaces. And you want to do that all the way from the bottom to the top. So once you've finished and you've got some fiber filling at the top there, we will complete our final round for the head slash body. And there we go. So you can see we've got all the fiber filling now inside the doll right up to the top there as best as we can. I'm just going to pull the yarn now and then have my hook inserted back into that loop. You don't want to tangle it up, so just be mindful of that. And then I'm going to use my 3rd finger in my left hand, since I'm a right-handed crocheter, to kind of hold that stuffing in place as I complete my final 21st round. So this is what we're going to do. If you crocheted with slip stitches and chain 1s at the end of each round, you will make 6 invisible decreases. If you crocheted in a spiral, you are only going to be making 5 invisible decreases, and then you will make a slip stitch straight after that. Okay, so for those of you who did the slip stitch chain 1, this is what we're doing. Invisible decrease number 1 complete. Invisible decrease number 2 is also complete. And we will just continue until we've finished all 6. So that's my 3rd, my 4th, and feel free to pause the video as well and come back once you finish those. There we go. And we have 1 more to go. Perfect. And then because I finished each round with a slip stitch and chain 1, I will do exactly that for my 21st round. And this time I'm going to pull the yarn and leave myself about a 15 centimeter tail. Then I will grab my pair of cutters, cut this, and there we go. There's my 15 centimeter yarn tail right there. And this is the part now where I need a needle, preferably a sewing needle. I have a leather needle, so you can use a tapestry needle as well for this section, so no problem at all. All right, let us do that now. Yarn tail is now woven through that needle. And as you can see here, we have 6 or 7 in the case of those who crocheted in a spiral, remaining stitches at the end here. And I just want my needle to come through the front loops of each of these remaining stitches. 1, so you can see I'm just going through the front loop only, and I'm not pulling too tight at this point. This is number 3, number 4, number 5, and finally number 6. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to pull the yarn in a clockwise manner. So pulling, 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 pulling. You can see that gap closing at the top there. Just push in any little bits and bumps that come across that you can see. Have the needle come right into the center there. You can come out anywhere in the face or the head and pull that yarn until the gap closes even more and it becomes quite flat at the top. And if you can see any bumps or anything that doesn't look good, just use your yarn needle to kind of flatten it out and push it in there. Okay, and then we need to just secure this yarn right now. So can you see that stitch right here? Can you see that little X? And this diagonal line goes on top of this one. So we are going to have the yarn follow that direction. So I'm coming from here to here. Okay, and then I'm just going to repeat that a few times across the head, and I'm not going to pull tight. And you can't even see where I have woven my yarn in that head because it follows the direction of the stitch, as you can see. So I might do that 3 or 4 times. This one is my 3rd. Maybe I'll do it one more time just to finish and fully secure that. And then I'll have my yarn come out anywhere. Doesn't really matter where. Chop the excess yarn and push in any little bits and bobs that you can see back inside the head. And there we go. So we have just now completed the entire body for Jinx. So let's get on now to the hair. For the hair, we are going to use blue, royal blue colored yarn, as you can see here, and we'll just start by making a magic ring. So let us do that right now. Let us make our magic ring just like that. And now we are going to make or work 6 single crochet stitches inside this magic ring, and I will be doing this a little bit faster now because we have had some experience with the head / body. So here, this is my 1, 2, 3, let's count them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so we need one more, and here is the 6th single crochet stitch. Grab your yarn at the base here, pull so you can close that magic ring or magic circle, and then have your hook enter into the first stitch, have this yarn on top of the hook so we can weave it in place, and make a simple slip stitch and chain 1. And this time we will be finishing each round with a slip stitch and chain 1. So here we go now. Second round, we are making increases in every stitch space. You guys know how to do this. You will finish with 12 stitches after the completion of round number 2. There we go. Okay, round number three is super straightforward as well. You'll just be making single crochet stitch first, followed by an increase, and just repeat that 5 more times. You will have 18 stitches in round 3. And we have just finished the slip stitch at the completion of round number 3. I'm about to chain, but this time, before we do that, we need to know that we are going to begin making the hair strands, and each hair strand has a number of chains that we need to complete. So we are about to make the first hair strand right now, and we are going to chain 8. So let's start. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Just like that. Now in the second loop from the hook, so here's the hook, and now in the second loop from the hook right here, we will make a slip stitch. Boom, just like that. And for the remaining single crochet stitches, we are just going to, so for the remaining chains, I should say, we are just going to be making single crochet stitches. So since we chained 8, the first was a slip stitch, we have 6 single crochet stitches to go. And you might be thinking 6 plus 1 slip stitch makes 7 in total, but we chained 8. But remember, we started in the second loop from the hook, and you must always start in the second loop from the hook when you're chaining and making stitches back from the chain. Okay, you want to now come into the second stitch of round number 3 and just make a regular slip stitch like that. Now we are going to be chaining 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And now we're just going to make a slip stitch like that. And then for the remaining chains, we're going to be making single crochet stitches. So that means we will have a total of 9 single crochet stitches for this second hair strand. So you can see we're making those single crochet stitches all the way down to finish off this hair strand. And again, feel free to pause the video, complete this hair strand, and then unpause once you've finished it. There we go. Okay, since we've done that, now we're coming into the very next stitch space of round number 3 and making a slip stitch. And actually, we're going to repeat that another 3 times. So we've made 1 slip stitch. Let's come into the next stitch space and make the second. Let's come into the next and make the third. And one more time, the fourth. So we just made 4 slip stitches along the front there. So this will be one of the sides of the head, and now we'll continue with the other side. All right, so we're up to the next hair strand now, and we are going to chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Remember, second loop from the hook, we make the slip stitch, and then we make single crochet stitches down the length of your chain. So this is number 2, and this will be number 3, just like that. And then we're going to make a slip stitch. Whoopsie daisies, kind of took out my hook there. Make a slip stitch in the next stitch space of round number 3. Okay, so for this next hair strand, we are going to chain 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And in the same way again, second loop from the hook, make your slip stitch first, followed by 4 single crochet stitches. 1, 2, 3, and here is the 4th. Then make a slip stitch in the next space, and then this time chain 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Slip stitch first in the second loop from the hook, followed by 5 single crochet stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, and number 5, just like that. And then just make another slip stitch in the next stitch space of round number 3. For this next hair strand as well, you will be chaining 7 again. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'll let you do this one and then we'll come back to the next one. Okay, so from here we've just finished that chain 7 hair strand, and we're going to make a slip stitch now in the next stitch on round number 3. And now this time we are going to chain 30. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I don't need to count them. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, but I will anyway so I can keep track of what I'm doing. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Actually, maybe just chain 25. 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. Okay, so we've chained 25, and I'm going to pull the yarn through just like you would chain 26, and then I'm going to chop the yarn at the end here, and you don't need to keep this long. I will keep it a little bit longer right here so it's easier for me to do something with later, and for you as well. So just leave maybe like a 1 inch worth, and there you go. So go ahead and place your hook back into that same stitch space, grab your yarn, pull it through, and chain 25 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Chain 25 right there, and again chop that yarn right at the end. Give yourself about 1 inch again, and you're going to do the exact same thing. So enter your hook through that same space, grab your yarn, pull it through again, and chain 25. Chop your yarn again right at the base there. And now we are ready to continue onwards. So you're going to enter your hook now through the next stitch space. You're going to, in the same way, pull the yarn through. And this time, you are going to chain, and this time you are going to chain 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Slip stitch in the second loop from the hook, followed by 6 single crochet stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So here's the 6th one, and as you come into the next stitch space on round 3, you will have all of those yarn tails come over the top of the hook to secure them in place right there. So they need to come on top of the hook to secure them in place. Boom, hook comes through just like that. Make that slip stitch and chain 8 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's do it again. So slip stitch first, followed by your 6 single crochet stitches. There we go, that's done right there. Come into the next stitch space on round number 3 and have again all of those yarn tails over the top of your hook as you make your slip stitch. There we go. We're going to make another hair strand now, chaining 8 again. So I'll let you guys do that and come back once you finish that hair strand. And there we go. So we just finished that 3rd chain 8 hair strand. We're coming into the next stitch space and making a slip stitch. This time I won't weave in these. You can either tie a knot or leave it as is or just give it a chop, depending on how you want to do that. And from here now we are going to make another 3 strands of 25 chains. So in the same way, you're chaining 25, chain 25 right there, pull the yarn through and chop at about 1 inch. And then in the same way as we did last time, come back into that same stitch space and make yourselves another 2 of these chain 25. And we'll come back after that. We are now finished those 3 hair strands in the same stitch space right there. We've got my hook, and your hook now should come into the next stitch space on round number 3. Grab your yarn again, pull through, and this time we're going to chain 7. Actually, we'll do this for the next 2 hair strands. It's chaining 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Slip stitch in the second loop from the hook. As always, you guys are getting really used to this now, which is fantastic. There we go. And then we'll have 5 single crochet stitches down the length of the chain. So that's number 2. Here's number 3 coming up. 2 more to go. 4. And last one, number 5. And now as we come into the next stitch space right here, we need all of those yarn tails, all of the new ones, I should say, not the old ones, to come over the yarn hook as you make your slip stitch. And you'll do that for the next one as well. So for this one, chain 7 as well and make that same hair strand. We've finished that. We're coming into the final stitch space on round number 3. We've got all those yarn tails over the hook. We make our slip stitch and we are now making our final hair strand, which is just chaining 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Slip stitch in the second loop from the hook. And then make 4 single crochet stitches. 1, 2, 3, and number 4. and come into that very first stitch space, just like that. Make sure the yarn is in the right direction, so that is way better now. And I'm not going to weave in these yarn tails because we have already done that a few times, and I'll just make a slip stitch, finishing this all off, and pull the yarn through that loop on the hook and leave yourselves a good maybe 40 centimeters worth of a yarn tail. There we go. There's our big yarn tail, and we're going to use this for sewing. The other yarn tails you can cut, tie, whatever you choose to do. Just make sure you leave a little bit of length so that they can kind of fall flat in the circle as you're putting this on the head, or at least sewing this on the head. So there we go. We are looking fantastic at this point. All that's left to do now is start sewing this hair to the head. So let's do that now.
Okay, so here is strand number 1 and 2. And as you can see, I've kind of pinned all of the hair strands to the head, but that's strand number 1 and 2, and then you've got this gap here across the forehead, and then strand number 3 starts right here. And I've pinned all of these to the head, as you can see, and then we will braid these a little bit later. I do apologize for my voice, I'm a little bit sick, and this is a couple of days later. Okay, so now that you've pinned all of this, we're going to start sewing, but before we start sewing, we're just going to braid this as well. So here I'll just teach you how to braid in case you haven't done this before. Start with the left, so have your 3 hair strands just like this, and then start with your most left hair strand and put it over the middle strand, just like that. And make sure these are all the same way as well, and then have your most right hair strand going over the middle, and then you're just going to repeat over and over. So left over the middle, and then right over the middle, and just make sure that the hair strand is facing the same way all the time because you don't want it to have twists. And then just keep repeating all the way down until you have finished. And what you can do is once you've done about maybe halfway, let's just say, we can then pin it to the head as well. Okay, so maybe at this point we can even pin it. So if I just grab a pin, any pin is fine, just like that, and then just pin it right there, or even a little bit lower. It's really up to you where you want to pin that, but it's just keeping it in place, as you can see here. And then you're going to keep braiding all the way down until you reach the end. And once you reach the bottom of that braid, what you can do is just pin it to keep it all together as best as you can. So I'm going to try and get this pin through all 3 hair strands at this point. And then I'm just going to pin it to the body right there. We're not going to sew it there, although you can. I will show you how to do this later. So I want you to do the exact same with these 3 hair strands over here, and then pin it right over here as well once you finish that. Okay, so we've braided those 2 sides there, as you can see, so 1 and 2. And now what we're going to do is start sewing. So get that yarn tail and weave it through the eye of the needle. And then you're just going to, so see how it starts here, you're going to come a little bit behind first. And then what you will do is move this pin upward and have your yarn needle go through the area where the pin was, as you can see right here. So I'm going to pull it through. And then where that pin is right here, I'm going to go through the side of the hair strand, just like that. And then I'm going to take the pin out, and I'm going to go across to the other side of where that pin was, and then work my needle into that same stitch space. And then I'm going to come all the way to this side and just lift up that needle so I can see lift up that pin so I can see where the needle's going to go. And then I'll have my needle come through where that pin was. And then I will pull this just like that. And then I will, in the same manner, so seeing as the pin was a little bit lower this time, I'm kind of just weaving that needle to the side of that hair strand. I'll take that pin out, and then I'll go to the other side of that hair strand and come straight into that same stitch space, pull up the next pin
and have the needle come through where the pin is as well. And you're just going to keep repeating that over and over all the way around, including the braid section as well. So you'll have you'll start sewing here and then continue sewing on, so like so right there, etc., until all of these hair strands are pinned onto the head. So this is my last hair strand now, and I'm just going to go straight to the top section, as you can see, like here, and then I'm just going to sew around the crown area a little bit, just a couple of stitches or sewing of these stitches. So as you can see here, I'm coming in here, might go to the back. I'll also take out this center pin and continue maybe out one of the sides, and then for the back, and then maybe the last side as well, just a couple of times. It doesn't have to be many. And then from here, I'm going to have the needle coming out, and then I can just directly cut it like that and poke any excess inside. Okay, so now we have to fix up these ends over here, so let's do that now. For this, I'm going to use 1 ply of my 4-ply blue cotton yarn. If you have a smaller needle, feel free to use a smaller needle. I can't find mine at the moment, so I'm going to use this one. At least it has a sharp end, so I'll be able to use that to my advantage. And then from here, all I'm going to do is weave in this yarn needle into those 3 hair strands, and then I'll take out the pin in just a moment. So I'm going to pull that part up just a little bit. I'm going to hold it at the base, take the pin out, or you can hold the pin in for the moment if you'd like. And then I'm just going to keep weaving through these stitch spaces and trying to get into all hair strands and just keep sewing them together back and forth. That way you can keep them together as best as possible until it's nice and secure. So as you can see here, I'm still sewing, and I'll come into this hair strand down here as well. And once I am happy with all of that, now it's completely up to you. If you want your hair to just dangle down, then you'll leave it as is. If you want it to come here, then sew it into the body and bring it up to the back. Just one time like that, and you'll do the exact same for this one. Bring it here, and then you can tie those 2 yarn tails together in a double knot, and that way you've kept them here. It's completely up to you how you want to do this. If you want to leave your hair strands dangling, all I would tell you to do is to weave this yarn tail into the hair to kind of secure it. So you can go up and then back down like that, and then cut that piece right there, and then you'll do the exact same for this one right here. And once you're completely finished, see all of these yarn tail ends at the top here, we are going to cut them as close we can to where we tied it. So here, and I'm going to point it at an angle as well and just cut it like that. Okay, so that's 1 hair strand done. I'm just going to weave this in, and then you're going to repeat for this one over here, and then you will be done with the hair. And there we go. So the hair is officially done now. So all that's left is the cross and an eyebrow to go. And feel free to add some plush and a nose and a keychain if you'd like to as well. I'll show you the cross and the eyebrow. So what I want you to do is just cut a maybe 15 to 20 centimeter piece of... Here I have autumn yellow colored yarn. I think I told you at the beginning yellow, but if you have some autumn yellow, definitely use that instead, because it kind of gives the resemblance of a gold color. So what we'll do is we'll just come anywhere, and then we're going to start making an X in the black portion. So can you see how we've got the connection? So here technically is where we started that stitch in black over here. So I'm going to go up around here. So I'm going to have my needle come through and leave myself a little bit of a yarn tail. Then I'm going to come diagonally across, and I will aim to come around about here, You can either go further up as well, so actually maybe I'll do that. Then come across to the complete opposite side over here, but in line as best as you can, and then just finish off the cross. So it's just like a crisscross. And then you're going to have the yarn tail come back over here where you entered that needle. I keep saying needle, but I mean your, yeah, it is a needle. I don't know, my brain is not working because I'm not feeling well. Okay, so here we go. Here's your 2 yarn tails here. And then you're going to make or tie a double knot. You just want to do this properly. So there's 1, and then here comes the second 2, just like that. And then you're going to give this a cut as close as you can to the knot, but not super close, because you don't want that knot to come undone. And then you're just going to push that knot into the body to hide. Some people leave a little bit longer of a yarn tail and then they just weave it inside the body, but that's completely personal preference. Okay, so there is the cross on the body, just like that, and now we have the eyebrow. Okay, so all I did was I grabbed some 1-ply cotton yarn. So I pulled it apart from the 4-ply black cotton yarn. I cut about a 30cm piece right there. And all I'm going to do is have the needle come anywhere. It doesn't matter where. And then it needs to go above the eye. So I'm going to come round about here. I think that's a reasonable spot. And then I'm going to come down here and then up diagonally, as you can see here, because what I'll do with that is have the needle come on the inside of that yarn, just like that, and then it will go back inside that same stitch space but over the top. And then once you have done that, you are going to have the needle come out where you began, then pull that yarn just like that, and there we go. There is our beautiful eyebrow there. We can't really fit one here, so we're just going to leave that. At least we have one. Okay, so tie these 2 yarn tail ends in a double knot as well. So there's 1, and here's the second one, number 2. And then just cut above that double knot. And with your needle, you're just going to push it inside to hide it away. And that is complete now. Okay, so there we go, guys. That is Jinx from Arcane, completely finished with her hair, her outfit. It's a great little plushie that I hope you enjoyed. If you want to stick these hair strands down, feel free to do that. Just sew them in towards that front where I told you before. But other than that, Jinx is completely finished. Add a keychain or a yarn chain if you'd like. Add some blush if you'd like. But Jinx is officially done. Don't forget to subscribe, guys, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks, guys. Bye.